When you dust a surface, keep in mind that dust is like a tiny little slurry of all kinds of things from your fabric, from your skin, from your pets, dirt, and it's just this fine little mist that exists. And if it gets wet, it becomes like a streaky sort of paste that can be hard to clean off, especially if you're cleaning a baseboard or a surface that has a thicker dust. So what this tells us is that when we're dusting, we always want to do it with a dry cloth. The mistake I see people making often is they will spray a cloth and they will use that to dust a surface. And in fact, that is making them work harder because now they've got this streaky slurry they have to get rid of. So remember, dust first, then clean. Over at Makers Clean, our annual summer sale is about to kick off. And if you want to get early access, head over to makersclean.com today and subscribe to our Makers Insider newsletter, which will give you access to special discounts, product drops, and for the next week, we'll also include a link to a free download of our comprehensive weekly cleaning checklist and guide. That's makersclean.com, and I've got a link for you down below.
Your shoes are responsible for about 80% of the dirt and dust that comes into your home. So logically, it makes sense to have mats at every entrance, whether it's your back door, your garage, your mudroom, or your front door. Make sure that you have a cute mat out there that can catch all that dirt and prevent it from coming in your home. Make sure that your guests or you wipe your feet before you step in. And then you can even have a mat inside the front hallway so that your shoes can stay there and that will trap even more dirt. And finally, make sure that you have a shoes off policy because when shoes are being worn inside the house, they are tracking dust and dirt around, and that means more cleaning for you later on.
What I like to teach here on Clean My Space is understanding the PTTs, the products, tools, and techniques to get a job done right. When it comes to dusting, the tools are key. So let's talk about a few of the tools. I sometimes hear people talk about dusting with an old rag or a disposable duster or a super fluffy duster or even just a flat cloth, like something you would use to clean your glasses off. The truth of the matter is this: microfiber is what you want to use for dusting. That is because it has tiny little fibers that pick up dust, and it also holds a bit of an electrostatic charge, which makes dust literally magnetic toward the cloth, so it does a lot of the work for you. If you use a general purpose microfiber cloth, it will dust like nothing else. If you use a cotton cloth or a rag or a cloth diaper or anything like that, that is a linty cloth. It's actually going to leave lint behind. And if you use a disposable product, well, it was designed to be thrown out. So A, it's not good for the environment, but B, it's not designed with the same type of technology that would go into a reusable product, like a microfiber cloth. So when you're picking your cleaning cloth, make sure that it is a general purpose sort of terry weave microfiber cloth. Anything else will make you work harder.
I love fresh air as much as the next guy, trust me, but having your windows open all the time can actually bring a lot of dust and dirt into your home. So just be mindful about how much you're leaving your windows open. And if it's a particularly windy day, make sure that you're closing them. You can also think about leaving your windows on your upper floors open and your lower floors closed. That way, some of the low-lying dirt won't be able to blow in. But in general, open windows do mean more dust comes into your home.
When I teach people how to clean, I talk about the 3-wave system. And if you're not familiar with it, I'll put a link for a video teaching you all about this fabulous system in the description box down below. But the order is simple. Tidy in the first wave, do your cleaning in the second wave, and deal with your floors in the third wave. And that is because dust falls down to the floor. And if you vacuum before you do your cleaning and your dusting, you're gonna leave dust behind. Not only that, cleaning, the action of disturbing your surfaces actually kicks dust up. So by the time you're done your cleaning, the dust that you have ostensibly kicked up should have fallen to the ground. I like giving rooms a little bit of time to breathe after I clean, so that way I know the dust has fallen to the ground and then I can vacuum it up and move on. If you vacuum first, you might find that dust resettles quicker and you might have to redo your work. Now, the only time it's appropriate to vacuum first is if you have a lot of pet hair in a home. In that case, I recommend the old vacuum sandwich where you vacuum first, do your cleaning second, and then finish off with a vacuum at the end. But that's the only time. Otherwise, vacuum at the very end.
Area rugs, cushions, and pillows absorb a lot of dust and dander and debris. And even when you vacuum them or launder them, sometimes not everything gets out. They're quite trappy that way. They really trap a lot of that stuff in. So take them outside, get yourself a tennis racket or some other whacking device. Give them a really good whack. Vacuuming is great. Do that as often as you need to, or launder your items as often as you need to. But 3 to 4 times a year, get rid of the dust by giving those items a good beating.
Don't take your cleaning advice from an actor, okay? The way that actors use feather dusters is they kind of go like this, because it looks cute and like French maid-like. That is not how you use a feather duster. And in fact, I don't like using feather dusters. I think they serve a very limited purpose. I think they're good for certain high dusting applications. They can help get down cobwebs in certain situations. But the problem with them is their plume, their feathers, kind of spread dust everywhere. If you plan on using a feather duster, the technique is to move from one side to the other in quick strokes. And when you're done using it, bring your feather duster down as low to the ground as possible, generally to your ankle, and tap it off so that the dust falls right there to the floor. Then you can pick it up and use it again. If you're doing this, you are literally shooting dust all over the room, which will then resettle on other surfaces and make you work harder.
Your air filters should be changed a couple of times a year, ideally 4 times a year, once with the change of every season. But if you haven't done it in a while, go get yourself a new air filter and change it. Your air filter, it's kind of like a hairbrush. You know, you use it a few times, it really works, but once it gets clogged up with hair, it really can't brush your hair effectively, and it puts a lot of crap back into your hair that you don't want there. So if your air filter hasn't been cleaned in a while, it's not going to be removing all of those particles that you're trying to not breathe in, and it might actually affect the quality of your air or your airflow. As well, your vents around the house, you can remove the vent covers, give those a quick vacuum or dust, and replace them. This will affect the quality of your air and your airflow as well.
I know it can be tempting to see a little area of dust and just walk over to it and give it a quick wipe, but you are wasting your time, because if you have a horizontal surface and there are other things on it, you might as well just remove everything from that surface, dust the surface entirely, dust each item that was on that surface over the floor, and then replace each item. If you just casually do a wipe, it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. And then you're gonna say, gosh, I should have just cleaned the whole shelf. And then you're gonna have to redouble your work. So do it properly, remove everything from the shelf, dust, clean the shelf stuff, put it all back. You're saving time, you're doing it right.